welcome on into another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry. That's Nick beside me. Brian down below. I think we'll have another person or two maybe joining us for hockey. Yeah, so there's 4 baseball games on today. And unfortunately, I was unable to find anything that I liked in any of the 4 games. Baseball has been rough the last couple days, so I have decided to pass on the baseball slate because there's only 4 games and there's basically only 2 that are really worth talking about, in my opinion anyway. I just decided to let's put it into last pitch. So here's last pitch. Nick, what do you think in the amazing 4-game slate of baseball we have today?
Yeah, and I know you're talking about 2 games that are worth talking about. Obviously, the first one you're looking at is the Reds and the Pirates here. And yeah, I actually do like this game. And this is, I think, the second time I've done this all season. Second. I have money on the Reds tonight. The first time I did, I had their first 5 money line against the Padres. It cashed a little while ago. This time I'm on their team total over 3.5. And I'm on the full game over 8. I think that we see runs in this game. I do not trust J2 Brubaker. I think we're getting a decent price here with the Reds, who have been actually playing better offensively as of late. And actually, they put up at least 4 runs in 8 straight games. So this Cincinnati team is hitting, and they're cashing overs. So I like the Reds team total over and the full game over. And then we do have the 2 good matchups. I do not have anything for Royals and Rangers. I didn't really have too much of a read on that game. I am on the White Sox first 5 run line. I really do like Dylan Cease. I think he's somebody that will look to finish in the top 5 for the Cy Young voting this year. And I think next year when I bet futures, I'll probably have a ticket that says Dylan Cease Cy Young Award on it, because I do think he is a legit pitcher, and I do think he's one of the best in the American League. So I'm going to look to back him today. I like Dylan Cease in the White Sox first 5 minus the half a run. I got that at even money. And then at the end of the day, I have the Dodgers first 5 full game run line. So I'm looking to fade Zach Wheeler a little bit here. And actually, I think the pitching advantage goes to Tyler Anderson and the Dodgers here, who has actually posted much better numbers than Zach Wheeler has so far this season. So I'm going to look for the Dodgers to take care of business in this game. I took them on the first 5 run line at minus 105 and the full game run line at plus 135.
All right. Bryant, any thoughts on the 4 games of baseball today? You're muted.
All right, I was trying to be courteous, but I'm gonna take stabs at every game. There's only 4 games today. Earlier, I had a nice little matinee parlay set up. I mean, it was flawless, but they screwed me big time. They couldn't cover the F5 run line. But with that being said, I'm gonna go back to the well tonight. Probably cook up the same thing. Probably do a couple single bets and then do a parlay, something from every game. But as far as this first game, yeah, I'm gonna take the Pirates here. Reds been swinging a hot bat lately. I have no desire though to back the Reds in any capacity on a side. So I just feel like you're getting pretty good price at with the Pirates here. Brubaker is not a good pitcher. I actually think Overton has performed better this year. The numbers indicated as well. But the last time I think that they pitched, or he pitched, I guess, against the Reds, it was in Cincy. This game is in Pittsburgh. I like the Pirates to figure out a way to get a win tonight. Also, Jonathan India, Joey Votto is still out for the Reds as well. I think that makes a difference. I know, like I said, again, they have been swinging the bats pretty well, but ultimately, I like the Pirates. Hayes, Reynolds, Vogelbach, all a little bit better and a little bit more reliable in that sense. And the Pirates bullpen is actually not half bad. We got a few arms that I think are going to be some trade bait later on for the trade deadline for contending teams like all 3 of ours. But yeah, so give me the Pirates there. That second game, we've got the Royals, Rangers. I'm looking at the F5 total here. Taylor Hearns got knocked around here. Heasley is not necessarily someone that I want to back. I think that there's going to be runs here. There weren't too many runs yesterday from both sides. The Royals did pretty much all the hitting. But I'm gonna go with the F5 here. I don't trust either one of these bullpens. So let's get the F5. That's what I'm gonna lock in for that. The next game, my beloved Yankees, we're heading up to Chicago to take on the White Sox. I think the easiest play here is, if I wanted to, I'm not going to because I just like the energy. I would back the White Sox here. And I say this as a Yankees fan. Cease is a very, very good pitcher. And as mentioned before, he's gonna contend for some Cy Youngs before his career is over, as long as he doesn't have any crazy injuries. He's the better pitcher in this matchup. Luis Gil is actually a very good young arm. He struggled with some walks last year. He looked pretty decent in spring training. But I think the homer in me is telling me that they'll keep it competitive. He'll keep it competitive because he has electric stuff. And for guys that have not seen him, this could be an adjustment period. And he looked well when he had to surprise some teams last year who didn't know anything about him. He throws hard. As long as he's locating that fastball, he can get some outs, and he can rack up some strikeouts too. So I'm gonna back the Yankees on the F5 to either keep it tied or to be leading after 5. So I'm going to take them on the F5 run line. I'm getting a decent price at them, minus 115, I believe, for that. And yeah, that's going to be my only play there. I think if anything, that's it for that. I might do a prop on Aaron Judge's total bases. But other than that, that's it. And lastly, we got the Dodgers, Phillies. I have been Zach Wheeler's biggest fan for the last 2 years. This year, I can't keep going to that well. Every time I bet on him, he's lost, or the Phillies have lost, and it's been a result of his pitching, generally speaking. So I'm going with the Dodgers. They get a home game. Anderson's looked really good so far. I'm gonna hop on the train as well and take the Dodgers on the F5. Obviously, the Phillies have some hitters. They have some legitimate bats, but I don't know if that's enough to overcome how inconsistent Wheeler's been, and especially when the opposing pitcher has been pretty solid in his own right. I like the Dodgers here, and my only apprehension is that Philly hits left-handed pitching pretty well. They have a top 10 OPS against them, so that's kind of scary. But if I'm going to take a gamble on a team to buck that trend, it's going to be the Dodgers with that offensive firepower all through that lineup, and that's pretty much it for me.
All right, and you're going to stay with us here for hockey. I know you'll have opinions in the 4th game.
Yeah,
and
100%.
You may actually like what I have to say about early hint. We'll bring on DJ on in. Welcome on in. And we'll jump right into the first one here. The Hurricanes plus 110 are in Boston, minus 130, a total 6. And this one, 5.5's also available. Basically, if you've taken the home team on the puck line and you've taken the over, you've done very well in this series. The home team has won. All 5 games have gone over 5.5, and the home team has covered the puck line in every game. I bet Boston the first 2 games. I was unsuccessful. I stayed off the next 2 games. It did have a little bit of stuff there on Carolina in the last one, and I'm going to go to Boston here, pretty heavily actually. I'm on the over 5.5. I'm on Boston money line. I'm on Boston puck line, and then I have Boston in 2 of my parlays, mixed with another game we're going to talk about, and then I have all 4 games tonight over 4.5 parlay together. So all 4 games would need to get to 5 goals for that to cash. And that is only plus 116, but I think we see goals. We've been seeing goals a lot, and I think that continues. Nick? Canes and Bruins. What do you think of this one?
I'm on the opposite side here. I think this is the game of the series that bucks the trend. I think that Carolina kind of seized the momentum last game, and this series ends tonight. I'm on the money line. I'm on the puck line. I did not go 2.5 and 3.5 like Ice X here, but I do think that Carolina shuts the door tonight. I think that Carolina is the better overall team in this series, and I still think that they're a team that we can look to make the cup this year. So I think they take care of business here. That this doesn't come back to PNC. They buck the trend tonight. Carolina money line, and I did try something tonight with all the teams I am backing. I did grab their puck lines as well. So I'm on the Carolina puck line here at plus 240, looking for a little bit of a big score here with an empty netter at the end, with Carolina taking care of business and shutting the door on Boston tonight.
All right. Head to head or against each other, but hey, it's all good. Bryant, are you on Team Terry or Team Nick?
I've the one of the only teams that I follow consistently that isn't my own team are the Hurricanes. Being that I am from North Carolina, so I've watched a fair amount of their games. I like the Canes here. Like Nick said, they I felt like last game, it was one of those things where I think they had a realization that they were just like, this team just isn't better than us. And sometimes it shows. That's what the playoffs and that's what these series kind of do for playoff teams. In all sports, you kind of get that moment where you're like, all right, you know what? We've been letting these guys hang around, but I think we know we're better than them. And I kind of got that feeling with Carolina. My play officially is I'm going to go with not the Panthers, but the Hurricanes to score first. That's it. I think they come out flying, and they'll light the lamp a little bit. I think maybe Boston makes it a pretty testy game. I think it'll be closely contested the whole way. But ultimately, I think in that third period, you'll see Carolina make enough plays and do what they got to do to get this win and close this series on out.
All right. DJ, any thought on the side or total?
Yeah, I mean, it has been a series that the biggest thing that people talk about is obviously like the home at home splits, but we really have seen almost complete opposites from the Bruins. And it really feels like the way they're able to deploy their lines in general at home has been very beneficial compared to on the road. We look at last game where Carolina didn't have a single minute with their bottom pair defense out against the Bergeron line, which is downright impressive. The fact that they kept them away, it looks like entirely, which is really crazy. I think there's a lot of props to like here because I do think there'll be some desperation. I bet the draw in regulation, and that's mainly because even though it hasn't come that close yet, the last time this game was in Boston was almost an exact dead-on expected goals match for each team, and I really don't think there's a hard goalie lean either way. So I bet the draw as more of a fun bet. I want to side one way or the other, but I kind of feel like it's more fun to just go with the draw. If I had to pick, I would go with Boston at home, but very, very slightly. And that's why I just don't know if the line's quite enough. I was hoping to get them at plus money and I didn't. Props that I think are really strong. Jarvis in general has shot over the course of the series at the same exact rate as anyone or better on the Hurricanes. And he's 1.5 at minus 160. Seems pretty good considering he's shooting almost 6.5 shots per game on average. I think he might get 2. He got moved up to the top power play, actually had some power play shots, which I know it's kind of like contested of how much he was going to be involved on the power play. People thought he might not be at all, but he played. There was no switching. He played all of the top power play role for them and scored in the top power play and scored exactly after, like 2 seconds after. So I bet his power play point prop as well, plus 390. It's just priced way differently than everyone else, and they have a very good power play. On the other side, DeBrusk is being moved to the top line, top power play. He's plus money for a point. He's plus 490 for a power play point, and he has a killer shot. I also bet him to score just because he's priced way different than everyone else. I just don't see it. That's where you can take advantage of the books, where they aren't tracking this stuff. They're not making any adjustments. So those are the guys that are easy to get on. DeBrusk for shots is here or there. I mean, I don't think he's going to immediately start taking 10 shots a game like Pastrnak, but I do like it just fine for DeBrusk. And then I'm taking Marchand over 3.5 in a desperation game. I don't think you need to get too crazy on this one. I think you could just stick to the props if you don't have a really strong lean on the side and take a lot of the coin that way instead.
All right. Yeah, Jarvis has been really good. I've noticed that, especially the last game.
Yeah, he had, hold on, let me look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shots on goal, 2 blocked, and 1 hit the post. So that's pretty good. I think he might get 2. I don't know. It feels like he's trending in the right direction. And yeah, like I know some people might say, well, they kept him away from Bergeron as much as they could, but I mean, the Bergeron line can't play everyone, and that we know now that there's only one line they want playing. The Stahl line is going to be out as much as Carolina can get them against Bergeron, and Jarvis is going to get some free range against, not against it. He saw very little run against them in Carolina. He'll see more in Boston, but 2 shots is not that hard.
Exactly. Toller, Canes and Bruins. Any thoughts on this one?
I've said it all season. I've said it all series. I can't back away now, gentlemen. The Canes are scoring first, but the books are getting smarter. The last games away, games 3 and 4, the Canes were plus money to score first, and I cashed out big on them things. It's minus 105 last time I looked. They're not going to give us the plus money again. They know what's happening. I even saw on DK that they have a boost for same game parlay. If Canes score first, game total over 5.5, and Bruins money line boosted. Scares me a little bit, but I can't back off now. 5-0 in the series. We're going to ride it. That's all I got right here. I'm not picking a side because anything can happen here. We've seen how Carolina plays over there in Boston during playoffs. You don't know what you're going to get, but it is Ranta's birthday today, so I don't know. Maybe he stands on his head.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing from that boost is Carolina wins, the game stays under 5.5, and Boston scores first. Got it.
That's right, so it scared me a little bit.
That's all the boosts tell me is so one of those are going to not hit.
I'm hoping it's Bruins money line.
Me too.
I do not hope that, but before I get to Eddie, Isaac says fade the boost. Isaac, what happened to your profile picture? What happened to your profile picture? You used to be a Boston fan, and now you become.
He realized the Bruins are done, and
before you get to Andy, boosts, yes, obviously they don't always cash, but there was Austin Matthews was boosted to plus 200 last game, and I didn't take it. Thinking, he hasn't scored. He only scored in one game in the playoff series. Figures he scores the day it's boosted to plus 200, but I didn't take it. Props to those who did. Andy, your Hurricanes are heading to Boston. Can the Bruins win this, or what do you think here?
The Bruins could definitely win this game. I don't think they win the series. So the last 5 times that Carolina has won Game 5 when it's 2-2, they've gone on and won the series. Not necessarily in Game 6, but they've won the series. And also Carolina has won their last 10 home playoff games. So I'm confident that Carolina emerges from this series as the victor. I don't know if it happens tonight. Boston's very good at home, and there's been the main reason why there's been such a strong home split is because of the ways that the penalties have been called, and I think that will determine the outcome of this game. Whoever gets penalized the most is going to lose this game. So for me, firstly, I'm a fan, so I don't really want to have pick a side in this game. I think it's probably a coin flip, to be honest. I can see both outcomes occurring, but I do like the over, so I'm going to play the over.
All right. Yeah, I got the over 5.5 at minus 125. So I took that instead of the over 6 just because, hey, they can land.
Yeah, the total dropped, and I think it dropped after the announcement that the perfection line had been split. And Pasternak was going to line 2 with Hall.
I don't think that'll affect the total too much. But yeah, I can see why people would. We'll move on to the second one here. Toronto, plus 115 is in Tampa Bay, minus 135, a total of 6.5 in this one. Other people will say it, and it's been said already about Vasilevsky's record after our loss, so I won't go into it. But this series has been zigzagging like crazy. My biggest bet of the playoffs so far was on the over 6.5 the last game, which cashed. I was also on the Leafs in that game. It cashed. And I'm going right back to the over 6.5 here. Yes, Vasilevsky is good, and I do think he is going to play well, and the Tampa is going to win. I also still think the over is going to hit here. So I am on, like Boston, I'm on Tampa money line. I am on Tampa puck line. I'm on the over 6.5. And then I said I had Boston parlayed with another team, and that's Tampa Bay. I like Boston and Tampa Bay both to force game sevens here. And I think they both lose in game seven. I think that the Leafs, actually, I think Carolina wins the other series. This one I think is going to be a toss up. I can totally see in a game seven the Lightning doing what the Lightning does and the Leafs doing what the Leafs do. But then I can also see a little bit of a history moment with the Leafs. So we'll have to see what happens if they get there, if they don't finish it off here. But in this one tonight, I like Tampa. I like Tampa by multiple goals, and I like the over. Nick, Leafs and Lightning, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, taking a look at what the Leafs have done, yeah, everybody knows that they're the kings of choking here. Their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential advancement games, the one where they win and they advance, they're 0-8 in their last 8, including 3 in a row against Montreal last year. I don't know if we can trust the Leafs in a spot like this. Yes, absolutely the Lightning are the play tonight. I got the Lightning at minus 120, and I also got their puck line at plus 195. I would tread lightly with the over in this one here. My only worry is I think that the Lightning are going to need to score 5 goals in order to push this game over. Because I think Vasilevsky does have a really good game tonight. We know the way he is after a playoff loss, and I don't really want to bet an over with him in net like that. So I would look more towards a Lightning team total over rather than a full game over. But I like the Lightning puck line and money line in this game to force a game 7. Also, plus 280 for them to win the series. I bet that as well.
Yeah, very good point. If you like these teams, if you like any of the teams that are down 3-2 in the series, which would be Boston, Tampa, Minnesota, or Edmonton, it would be good to bet them to win the series as well. Bryant, Leafs and Lightning, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah. For me, I'm going with the Lightning. I think they win the game. I've got 3 separate plays here. I've got the Lightning money line, or the Lightning puck line, I should say. I think they're going to take care of business, and I think that they'll win by 2 goals if they do. I also have the Lightning first team to 2 goals as well. I think it was minus 120 when I got it. I mean, I think if they're going to come out, they're going to come out flying. This is a championship team. They know what this means, and they know how to feel, and they know how to play in these type of situations. I think I saw a stat there: 16-0 straight up, following a loss in the last 3 seasons. That's just an unheard of anyway. In any sport, in any capacity, for you to be able to play like this consistently, following losses, especially in the postseason, when teams are able to just hone in on all your tendencies. So that's just a really impressive stat. And here, my whole purpose is I have to see something from the Leafs, right? They haven't won a playoff series in almost 20 years. I just don't think that if they're going to do it, they are not going to do it in Tampa Bay. The Lightning are just too prideful of a team to let that happen. Like, if you're going to whoop our ass, we got to do it. And you know what I'm saying, on your terms, but you can't come in our house and do that. And ultimately, I think that's kind of where it all goes to. Game 7 is another battle. But tonight, I think the Lightning get it done. They're just not going to let someone come in their house and beat them. And so that's where I'm going with that. And also, because I like the Lightning so much in this, back against the wall situation, I'm also going to back them on the puck line for the first period. I think like I said, they come out flying. Vasilevsky, like you said, we all know the stats. But I think that they come out firing and at least put up enough of an effort to cash that first period puck line for me as well. Give me a little plus money. So,
all right. So the 3 of us like Tampa Bay so far. DJ, do you like the Lightning as well?
This series has been kind of the one that every time I get to last when I'm running through everything, because every time I look at it, the models kind of, they side with Toronto on the season in general throughout the playoffs. I can't get past the narratives either. It's one of those things where, especially just being a Sabres fan, it's like, it's just always so funny to watch Toronto media meltdown. And I'm not going to bet it at all. I put one parlay together where I bet the puck line here when I got it earlier, but I'm not overly bullish on it to like make it a favorite play, because I do think Toronto's the better team overall. So not one of my favorites. I think there's a lot more, again, value in the props, as is kind of always been the case with every game. Again, not really pricing a lot of things correctly. I think one of the funniest things, and I know a couple people that bet it, I actually faded it for the first time all playoffs, was Matthews didn't hit his over 4.5, I think for the second time in the series, and he had 12 shot attempts. 5 get blocked, or no, 6 get blocked. That's pretty unbelievable. So I'm going to go back to Matthews for shots. Almost even money over 4.5. I think it's, what is it? I don't know. I think it's minus like 110. Yeah, minus 110. I think he gets it. Victor Hedman has been easily the best offensive producer as far as shot volume for Tampa. It's actually by a little bit of a decent margin now. So I'm going to go back to him for shots. Minus 175. He seems like a really easy parlay piece, especially with Jarvis. I think those are two of the safer bets on the entire night. Hedman's going to get there. I think that, this game is going to come down to one player and one player only, and it's Jack Campbell. If he plays well, Toronto has a chance. If he plays bad, Toronto doesn't have a chance. I'm willing to bet on him to at least get the 28.5 saves as well at minus 120. I really think Tampa's going to put as many shots in him as possible, because they know it just as well as all of us that if Campbell shows up and plays like he did last game, Toronto's moving on. If Campbell doesn't show up, well, obviously he's going to game 7, and they're going to put a lot of shots on him, as they kind of was the case throughout that game, especially as it got later. I'm not feeling crazy bullish on anyone else. I get Kucherov, I get Stamkos. I think you could bet one of them, make up your mind yourselves, because to me, they're all exactly the same. And then Bunting for a point has been just, anytime he's with Matthews and Marner, it's an auto lock for me. I think he is plus money, if I recall. No, yeah, plus one. Yeah, even money. So put him with, Marner and Matthews are on another planet right now. And he's actually, first off, 5-on-5 points. He had as many points in the regular season at 5-on-5 as McDavid, I believe, like the same number. So at plus 100, for 5, he had 3 power play points all year, I think. It's something ridiculous. Like this Michael Bunting guy, I know people talk rookie of the year. He's 26. I get the narrative, but he is a good 26-year-old hockey player. And whether he wins the Calder or not, I don't really care. I think he can get a point tonight.
All right. I like it. Toller, Leafs and Lightning. What do you think here? You're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, you guys kind of hit everything. Following the narratives is kind of the play tonight for me as well. Tampa Bay at home, back against the wall. If they're clicking, I can see them just tearing out. Maybe a 5-1, 5-2. I'd take the puck line for sure. Minus 1.5. Good money for there. Other than that, nothing extra to add. Y'all hit pretty much everything on it.
Right. Andy, Leafs and Lightning. Any thoughts on this one?
I'm on the over. I'm on Tampa Bay money line and puck line for the same reasons everyone else said. The only other thing I'll say is that if you are a conspiracy theorist, I think the thing that NHL wants the most in the first round is a game 7 between Tampa Bay and Toronto. And so I think that if there is going to be any involvement with that regard, you'll just see Tampa getting a lot of power plays in this game. But that's not the reason I'm taking Tampa. For me, you've got to have an extremely good reason to oppose Vasilevsky off a loss with a 16-0 record. The Leafs can win. It's a one-off game, but I can't see a more compelling reason than the 16-0 record to flip me to the other side. So I'll rock with what's been cashing, the over and Tampa Bay off a loss.
I double checked it. It is 58 points for Bunting at 5-on-5, 58 points for Connor McDavid at 5-on-5 during the regular season. Just in case anyone wanted to make it real, I tweeted it. I just posted it. It's real.
Wow. And we'll move on to this one. The Wild are in St. Louis. The Wild now favorites, -115. Oh, I like it. St. Louis -105, a total of 6.5 here. My heart was broken in Game 5. The Wild had the lead for most of the game. Things were looking good. The Blues tied it. The third period started, and Fleury decided that he was not going to really. Okay, I shouldn't say he didn't attempt to stop. He did not play very well, and Tarasenko scored 2 goals on him that completely deflated everything, and that was about it for that game. Now the Wild backs up against the wall are heading to St. Louis here, but Fleury will not be in net. I backed Dean Evison for putting Fleury in the net throughout the series, and I'm definitely backing him here in Game 6 on taking him out because Fleury is the reason why the Wild lost Game 5. I think that's pretty evident. That he's the reason why we lost. So Talbot is in. Talbot's record against the Blues is definitely nothing to jump up and down about. 7-7-3, I think, with an 872 save percentage and 3.72 goals against or something like that. So the numbers aren't good. About even when it comes to win losses, not including overtime. I'm backing the Wild one more time. I am. One more time, probably the last time for the year. We'll see. Wild money line -108. And then I'm also on Kaprizov anytime goal, a full unit, a +150. He's been absolutely on a tear. And if the Wild are going to have any hope to win this game, Kaprizov is going to have to have another big game. So I'm interested to hear all of your opinions. Nick, I know your opinion, but what do you think happens here?
Yeah, and I'm someone who I was saying before the series started and like throughout the last couple of weeks of the playoffs that Cam Talbot should have been the number one goalie heading into the playoffs. That he was the goalie that was playing better down the stretch, and that I didn't think Fleury played good enough to start Game 1, and they put him in, and now they're finally going to Talbot. I thought they may have done that after Game 4, but they waited till after that loss in Game 5. And it's time for the team that I picked to win the Stanley Cup to close the door tonight. I like the Blues. I still think they came into the playoffs super hot, and this is a team that I don't want to jump in front of. And like I said, with every single team I bet tonight, I took them anticipating empty nets at the end. So puck line as well, a +215 with the Blues. I think that the Blues are still the better overall team in this one here. They're at home. They know that they have to win this game unless I think the Wild would probably win Game 7, to be completely honest. If they win this game tonight and they have all the momentum heading back to Minnesota for Game 7, I'd be really scared if you were the Blues. So I think the Blues do get the job done here tonight. I don't know how Cam Talbot's going to play. That's going to be definitely interesting to see because I remember he basically willed the Wild to 7 games against Vegas last year with 3 shutouts. So let's see what type of Cam Talbot we get tonight. But I'm going to take the Blues here to close the door at home tonight against the Wild.
All right. Bryant, Wild and Blues. What do you think here? You're muted.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to stay away from some sides in this game. I'm going to keep it simple. I like the over here. I think it's set at 6.5. Or at least last time I checked it, that's what it was. That's what I'm going to ride with. You got Talbot coming in. First start of the entire series. You don't really know how he's going to perform here in this, and you know, kind of his back's against the wall as well. It's a tough situation to just hop into and say, all right, you know what, I'm gonna come out here and hoop and pitch a shutout. I think there are 2 really talented offenses. It's been the case all season. The over, I think, is 3-2 in this entire series. And it was like 4-1 over the course of the season as well. Or 4-1, I think, in the last 5 in St. Louis. I'm just gonna root for goals and chaos. Sorry, Terry. That's where my money is at. That way, I don't have to stress anything. I just want to see pucks and nets. And that's kind of where I draw my line at in this game. If I had to lean, I probably would lean with the Blues just because they're at home. But like Nick said, I think this is a series where whoever gets the last game, it seems like that was going to be the one who's going to win this series. So if it goes 7 games, I think the Wild take it. But right now tonight, I'm going to play it simple and just root for chaos. So I don't care who wins. Just give me 7 goals. So.
Hey, don't have to be sorry. If the Wild are the ones that are putting the pucks in, then chaos is totally fine. DJ, Wild and Blues, wearing a Wild jersey there. I love it. What do you think here?
Yeah, I did it just for the show. But I mean, first off, I think the first note that's the most important for anyone that's either betting on this game or playing DFS is the Blues are sticking to 11-7, 11 forwards, 7 defensemen, and I think that's really, really benefited them in general because it definitely threw the Wild off of their line matching that they had before. They got a lot of different combos out there, and I really think that for the Wild to go out and win this game, it really does come down to do they have the right mentality in place to absolutely get away from trying to win this game on paper and actually put the better team on the ice that I think they have and the better goaltending in this matchup and get it done. I feel like I like the Wild okay. I think I like it more now that they're the underdog because I do actually think they're a little bit better overall on the year, and I'm fine with that. But once again, this just screams props to me, especially when you have 11-7 on one side and a Wild team that just frankly stopped playing their top guy, their bottom pairs, guys in general. They had a couple guys get 9 minutes of ice time and some guys get over 20. So I think the easiest bet of the night, because I do like the over okay. I'm not sure if I'm incredibly bullish on it, but I'm more bullish on it than I thought I'd be. It's just in general, you have a guy like Zuccarello playing every minute 5-on-5 in power play with Kaprizov, and he is just not priced correctly for his point. I think he's trying to pull it back up now. I got a million tabs. Minus 155 for a single point. That just feels wrong. He definitely is a guy that moves the puck well in the power play. On the other side, we have a ton of really easy bets as well. Perron, the guy is absolutely shooting out of his mind right now. Over 2.5 is just, again, DraftKings prices things very rhythmically. Like he hits 4 slates in a row. He's just gone up like 10 points every night, and he's not hitting by 1. He's hitting by 5 shots, and it has one of the best shot attempts in the entire playoffs. So Perron really easy. Kaprizov over 3.5 again, has not missed yet. Very, very easy. I like Justin Falk too. He's getting a ton of run. Even with that defensive, and now they got him at the defensive with they have more defensemen, but they're giving Falk 27 minutes. So over 2.5 for him is another one that's popping because it's plus 135. Seems pretty easy. I'd rather bet that than to get 2 at minus 190 or whatever it was before. So I really do think there's a lot of value in those. And I like the Wild in general. So I did put them in a couple parlays that were kind of collect all the coin parlays. I think they get it done. I think Talbot's a better goalie than Fleury, and the Blues do not normally, and they've gotten away from it a little bit, have an exorbitant amount of shots. So if they can play a little bit better defensively, I think he'll be in a good position to get the win.
All right, I like it. Toller, Wild and Blues. What do you think here?
I think we're due for a Bennington regress here. He's been playing pretty decent, above his average his past 2 starts. I don't see him doing too great tonight with the pressure that's on. I could definitely see this going over, but it's going to sound weird, but I might be backing the first period under 1.5. I know it sounds crazy. I'll be on an island with it, but I like Talbot tonight in this spot. He's good in the playoffs. I think he's going to come out here and show everybody why he should have been starting game 1. I think his boys rally behind him a little bit. But then again, we all know that I'm kryptonite when it comes to Blues games. I'm terrible picking sides. I'd like to see the Wild win here tonight, force a game 7. It's always more entertaining. There's more money to make if you have get 7 games. But the Blues at home as an underdog price is so hard to pass up the way they've been playing and how quickly they can score. Tarasenko, for example, I mean, I know one of the goals was an empty net, but still – a hat trick in the 3rd period naturally it's pretty crazy. I can't ignore it. So I expect fireworks, but I don't think they're coming in the 1st period.
All right, Andy, Wild and Blues. What do you think here?
My headpiece is about to run out of battery, I think, so I'll talk quickly. This is a series I've actually read really well, and I think I've been on the right side for every game. I say that because the next game is the complete opposite. So I think in the last game, the Wild were the better team, and what happened was in the third period, there was an individual player who went off, and that's just variance. It's very difficult to account for, and the Wild just didn't have time to be able to recapture or tie it up and force overtime. So for me, my takeaway from the last game was that the Wild were the better team overall. Um, Two key factors for me: the Wild, off a home loss, have won the next game the last 8 times that's happened, um, and also the Wild have won in this building in this playoff series so far. And I think that's huge for their confidence because this is an elimination game. They're going to be under a lot of pressure. But in many ways, I think they're under less pressure being away from home. I think home crowds in elimination games actually can be not as helpful as everyone thinks. So for me, when I thought that Fleury was in net, I was all for the Wild. I don't really like that Talbot's come in only because he's cold. Let's see what that happens. I still think the Wild win this game. So for me, I'm taking the over. I'm taking Wild money line and Wild puck line.
Wow. All right. I like it. We'll move on to the final game of the night here. The Oilers minus 140 are in LA plus 120. Total is 6.5 in this one. So far, I've predicted that we will have 3 game 7s, and I think that's it. I do not think this game is going to go to a game 7. I think the Kings are going to finish it off here at home. What can really be said? They're a scrappy team. I underestimated them a bit, and they played well. The Oilers, just I don't know what it is about the Oilers, but another first round exit. You have to think that the McDavid rumors will just intensify as they have the last couple of years. Kings. I'm on the Kings money line, and I also sprinkled the Kings puck line because I think plus 270 because I think the Kings will be up, and I think they'll get an empty net. They might even be up by 2 and get an empty net, but I do like the Kings here. I think the Oilers are toast. Nick, Oilers and Kings. What do you think here?
Yeah, I've loved this series here, and I've made plenty of money with that team in the black and the gray. Yeah, I'm on the Kings to close the door here. I said I think I see 1 game 7 between the Lightning and the Maple Leafs, and that is it. I think we get 2 days from now we get 1 game, but 3 days from now we get 3 games. There's a little hint towards tomorrow's show, but yeah, I think that we only see 1 series extended tonight. And this is not it. I like the Kings in this spot. I think they've been the better overall team. And like I said, heading into the playoffs, I don't trust the Oilers in the playoffs. And I think that heading into the playoffs, I said that in about a month, McDavid's going to demand a trade because he's tired of losing in the first round every single year. And that's what's going to happen again this year. I think the Kings take care of business in this one here. I cashed the plus 120 on the money line. We sprinkled the puck on a little bit here. And the plus 190 for them to win the series. So wrap it on up here, Kings. I think they take it home here.
Well, that's interesting. Plus 190 to win the series, plus 120 to win this game.
Yep,
that's really interesting. Bryant, wearing your Kings jersey. You are a Kings fan.
That was pre-series, by the way. That was pre-series. The plus 190.
Oh, pre-series. Oh, yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oilers, Kings. What do you think here?
Well, I think the series is over. My one bit of apprehension is that the Oilers obviously have the 2 best players in the series, right? They are going to come out gunning. I don't know how what that's going to look like, what the end result of that's going to look like. But this first period is going to tell everything about probably how this game is going to go. if the Oilers are not winning by with Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line together, and they have not came out flying and got an early lead, they could be in some serious trouble. If they're able to jump out, like I said, and get on top of us early, I might concede that things could get a little dicey. But if we get what we've seen the last 2 games and what we saw in game 1, where we just looked like we didn't view them as the Oilers. They're just another team that we're playing. I think we'll get the job done tonight. You've got Jay Woodcroft talking about that the pressure is clearly on us, even though we shouldn't even be in the playoffs right now. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I did not come into the season expecting the playoffs. Tom McClellan's done a really good job there. And we're also doing this without Drew. Victor Arvidsson's not playing at all. There's no reason why we should be in this series, truthfully. But you play the games for a reason, and these last 2 games have really kind of opened my eyes. I like us to win. I've got my futures bet that I need to cash. Me and Nick have been on this for the last 3 weeks. We have been pounding the table for this last 3 weeks, so I need that to cash. I've got him on the money line tonight because why not? I also just played it safe and took the Kings on the puck line as well, with just the +1.5. It's still fairly decent. It's going to be in a parlay with some of my baseball picks. In the instance that something we do force a game 7, or not we, but the Oilers force a game 7. But other than that, that's it, man. I think it's pretty simple. The Kings know how they know how they need to play. Philip Deneau is kind of the key to this series. He bottles up everything in the middle. McDavid's had some good games and some good moments. But if those two don't show up, they can't really generate too much offense. Darnell Nurse is not playing tonight. He's suspended. He's a top defenseman as well. So they've got to account for that too. It's just a lot of different things going wrong for the Oilers right now, and I don't really think that that putting Draisaitl and McDavid together is the fix, especially now with your back against the wall. So go Kings, go!
Yeah, putting McDavid and Draisaitl together just means the Kings have one line they have to defend. Really.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much
they can just put their defense in that one line and they'll probably be good.
And that's what I said. Deneau, Grunstrom, and Moore are going to be there. That's the line. I think it's probably our strongest defensive line in that regard. And Deneau's did a really good job on them. I just can't see. I don't see where the production is going to come from if you're gonna operate like that for 60 minutes. It might, like I said, it might net you a couple goals early, but if Mike Smith is Mike Smith, what does it matter?
DJ, Oilers and Kings, what do you think here?
Yeah, no, I've hated this series for most of it. It's one of those things where I feel like I'm just slightly higher on Edmonton than most, and I went into this playoffs thinking like, I like a lot of the metrics from LA, but the defense, I have no faith in anyone on this defense, and I still really don't. And it just hasn't mattered because the forwards have been so good. A couple of interesting things about this series in general: that 4-0 win for LA at home, they actually line matched McDavid with Kopitar all night, and they had Draisaitl get absolutely bullied the entire evening by the Deneau line. And then they full 180'd it in their 5-4 win in overtime, but Kopitar saw a good amount of time against McDavid, but Deneau saw just as much. The McDavid line played well against both. I mean, the McDavid line has actually won more matchups than I think the media gives it credit for, especially when you're just looking at like the Hockey Viz metrics on it. So I don't think it's as detrimental to putting them all together, because I do think that, like, if you tell me that you have Leon Draisaitl, McDavid, and Yamamoto against Moore, Deneau, and Gunstrom, and you're going to sit here and tell me that, that Deneau line is just better, it's like, you're just not correct, in my opinion. So I'm just really high on that line to play 25 minutes of ice time, at least, in a close game. Bet all of the props for points, because they're going to be the only offensive unit. They're going to get all the offensive zone draws. They know they need to find goal scoring, and they haven't been able to. Mike Smith has been marginally better than I think people give him credit for, because the Kings have just done it. What they did all season long, people seem surprised by it. They shoot more than anyone down the stretch. Yeah. The only team maybe was Florida, but down the stretch, the Kings were shooting more. So I've been, my biggest problem with this series is I've been playing Mike Smith in net in DFS, and he's just not quite getting it done enough in most of the games. Obviously, they're losing the series. I'm going to go back to it here because I think the Oilers can find a way to get it done. But I think in general, the over is just the best bet for all the reasons I just said. I think that the McDavid line will find goals, and Kempe and Co., which will not see as much run against them, will also find goals. I think Kempe's shot prop is one of the easiest best bets of the night because it's 3.5. It's just about even money, or maybe it's just a small minus. He's shooting more than almost anyone in the entire league in the playoffs. I'm going to Leon Draisaitl for shots because plus money 3.5. Leon Draisaitl was a mortal lock all season long. Doesn't change it here, especially with McDavid, and Yamamoto doesn't shoot a lot. And then Yamamoto plus money for a point. I mean, that just can't be. You just can't fade that. Playing with these two guys, and I get it's a tough matchup, but I think that's a little bit overplayed, in my opinion. So the over in the game in general, I don't think you have to bet the Oilers. Just don't. If you value getting to bed early and not ripping your hair out, just don't bet it. Go for the point on Yamamoto. I put about 4 units on it because I really think it's super strong. Kempe for shots. There's really no one else on the Kings that blows the doors off, and then you can go with Draisaitl for a shot. I did bet. I put a little bit on Nugent Hopkins for a point too because that's like minus 130 top power play, and with Hyman and Kane, that's a good line. That's a good second line. I think the Kopitar line gets the better of them, but I think I said enough on this game.
All right, Nick, you're leaving.
Yep.
We'll talk to you later. Andy had to go as well, but he sent me his picks here in this game. Toller, Oilers and Kings. What do you think here?
I woke up this morning and I was like, my lean is the Kings. I saw a stat. It says they're like 9 for 10 in when they're 3-2 in the playoffs, dating all the way back to like the freaking 60s or some crap. Like, it's insane. Pretty good narrative there. I'm big on narrative, so I like that. Kings at home, they've got Edmonton's number. I mean, like you guys said, the best 2 players in the whole series are kind of all that the Oilers are, especially with Nurse out. Mike Smith is known to mess up every now and then, so I'm never comfortable backing him. Big pressure spot for him as well. I don't know if he can hold. Kings at home, plus 120. You got to love that, especially if, like Brian said, the first period is going to completely determine this whole game. It'll give you basically just a fast forward to the 60-minute mark. If the Kings can shut down that first line, game's over. And I think the Oilers know that as well. Their momentum's just going to deplete if they can't get anything out of that first period. So if you're backing the Kings, you might as well take the reverse puck line. Huge value. I, for one, am going to be staying up for this one. I don't care what I feel tomorrow, but I love elimination games, so it's definitely worth it to me. Kings minus 1.5, going big or going home.
I like it. I got that at plus 270 for Kings.
See, for someone at home, up one, I don't know why it's such a high value.
I think for me, and I laugh at this. The entire series, the lines have not reflected the fact that outside of those 2 games, or the first game in LA and the game 2 in Edmonton, the lines haven't changed at all. Like, the Kings got smoked. They were it was like 14-2 those first over the Oilers wins in this series, and you could still get the Kings at like plus 0.5 in game 4 for like minus like 120 on the puck line. Like, like what? And so, I mean, there's value everywhere, and I just still think they don't respect the fact that the Kings are like in this series. And I think, getting plus 270 or anything plus 200 on a puck line in an elimination game, with the home team, no less. I think that's you have to, like, even if you're not comfortable, if you think the Kings are going to win, you might as well just put some money on that.
Yeah, I would just add to it. It's kind of been universally accepted all season long that the puck lines are way stronger in value. I know Filipovic and Leschyshyn did a pretty long podcast on it. And in the playoffs, it's only been exacerbated to like the 10th degree. So, yeah, I think if you're on LA, you just take the puck line. That seems like really good value for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Andy did have to go before he did say that he is on the Oilers money line and the Oilers puck line. So Andy does think that the Oilers will get the job done here.
If
Let me
the
go talk shit to him real
he's
quick.
going down with the ship. I love it. I tweeted about one of my tickets where I had like Colorado to sweep and a few others that are looking really good, and it's just the Oilers that are going to sink me out of like 20 into 300, and I'm just gonna hold the ticket. I tweeted like, should I cash out? I'm like, I'm just gonna hold it. I don't even care. I'm going down with the ship too. Stupid Oilers.
All right. So after yesterday's results, these are the current results here. Tim and Sam are in the lead. Occupancy. Bryant, they're in fourth. Somehow, I totally forgot about getting your best bets yesterday. That's totally okay. You got a pass, and now we'll move on to today. So we have all the picks here. DJ, something new. You can now choose any sport, any of the three main sports for best bets that you wish.
I really only do hockey. I get people to ask me all the time, like, do you have any? The only other thing I dabble in is golf, and it's don't do it. Like, no matter what you find and you think you have an edge, you don't, because the golfer's going to go out there and not golf well. Best bet. I really do think it's the bunting point prop at plus 100 to get a point. I think that game has really strong 6.5 over vibes. I'm not as in on it. But this guy, it's just that is one of the best values I've seen.
Plus 100?
Plus 100. Yeah, it's plus 100. I mean, he is playing all of the run you could want, and there's really no reason why that can't happen. And then for parlay, there's so many. I think Jarvis over 1.5 shots. That's probably the best. Do you need the odds? You put the odds? You don't even put the odds.
No.
I think minus 175. Don't quote me on it. It might be minus 185, and that's egregious. Top power play, top line.
If he's getting 6 shots a game and it's at 1.5, then there's something wrong there.
Yeah, I mean, dog of the day. Oh God.
Totally optional. Totally optional.
I know. I really do want to pick one, but I feel like you can't pick the Wild. Yeah, I guess I just won't, because I don't know.
Have to be Carolina, Toronto, or LA.
I just can't. In good conscience, I just don't want to. I was gonna try to think of a baseball one pick, and I couldn't tell you. I don't even know who's playing, honestly. I've watched one baseball game all year.
You don't gotta force it. Over under?
Yeah, over in the LA Edmonton. It's one of those things where everything seems right here. I don't know why it's priced differently than the other series. You have the shot volume, you have not very good goaltending, and you have two of the best goal scorers in the world with a team that's found goals from all 4 lines in LA. I don't get why it's priced differently. Right from the beginning, I bet it every time. I know it hasn't hit every time. I think it's 4 for 5. Maybe it's either 4 for 5 or 3 for 5, but I think it gets over here today. I think it's plus 100, and that just isn't correct.
All right. So I'll just zip through everything here. Dog of the day. For me, the Kings. Nick is taking Carolina. Tim is taking the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA. Sam is also taking the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA. Toller, any dog today?
Yeah, let's go with the Kings.
Yes, sir.
All right, Bryant.
Well, you know what I was gonna pick. That's gonna be my dog of the day as well. I probably would have went baseball, but the slate sucks today.
Exactly. That's why I'm glad that I combine the show and then gives people more options too. So over or under. For me, I'm on 2 totals today, but I'm going to take Boston, Carolina, which you can find at a 5.5 because that's just crazy. So I'll take Boston, Carolina over 5.5. Nick is taking Cincinnati, Pittsburgh over 8. Tim is taking Philadelphia, Los Angeles Dodgers over 8, both MLB. Sam's taking Wild and St. Louis over 6.5. Andy is taking Boston, Carolina over 5.5. And DJ, you said you're taking Edmonton, LA over 6.5. Best bets, best parlay pieces. For me, I'm going Tampa Bay in regulation as my best bet. Kaprizov over 0.5 point as my parlay piece. Nick is taking the Kings on the puck line as his best bet. Dodgers money line from MLB as his parlay piece. Tim going Cincinnati, Pittsburgh over 8 from the MLB as his best bet. The over 6 in that game as his parlay piece. Sam is taking Boston Bruins money line, best bet. Boston draw double chance, so either Boston or the draw would cash. Andy is taking Tampa Bay money line as his best bet. Kaprizov over 0.5 point as his parlay piece. Vito is taking Tampa Bay money line as his best bet. Carolina team total over 2.5 as his parlay piece. And then DJ already said Toronto Bunting over 0.5 point as his best bet. Jarvis over 1.5 shots as his parlay piece. Toller, what do you think here for best bet?
Let's go Tampa Bay first period over 1.5.
Period over 1.5. And you'll get me odds for that after here.
Oh, I thought that was for the over. Sorry, no, not best bet, not best bet.
Oh yeah, shoot! I didn't even ask you about the over under. I'm sorry. I just went right to.
Sorry.
All right, and what do you think here for best bet and best parlay?
I gotta rock the best bet. Canes to score first, -105. I'm gonna check DraftKings and see if they got it. Plus, they sometimes have a 5 to 10 cent difference in FanDuel. So,
okay,
but
what's after?
parlay piece give me Kings +1.5.
All right. Brian, I skipped over you for total 2. Is there a total you like today?
Yeah, my total is going to be the Wild Blues. I'm gonna rock out. Like I said, that was the game that I think is gonna give me the most chaos. Two really talented offensive teams as well. You got a new goalie making his debut with his season on the line. Yeah, I'm gonna stay the course with that. And then for my best bets, I'm going to go with the Dodgers F5 money line, and that is, hold on one second. Yeah, so I got it at -130. Yeah.
All right, and parlay piece.
My parlay piece is going to be the Texas Rangers over 2.5 total runs, full game.
Can go over 2.5. Perfect.
Oh, I take that back. I'm sorry. It's not over 2.5. It's the total runs scored for the F5 is going to be 3.5, and it's -215.
Okay, so Texas, and who are they playing? Kansas City, right?
Yep.
First 5 over 3.5.
2.5.
Over 2.5.
Yep, and it's
Correct.
-1.5.
And that is it. That is the show. A little bit of a long one today, but hey, lots of knowledge given out. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all the support. If you like the content, smash the like button. And we will see you again tomorrow for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Have a good one, guys.